Anas Arimiya Anas. Currently, he is trending #1. Ghana in social media space, so. Ninyina enese enano pay that sorry anache say chirima. Anas any Kennedy Japan mu issue bi achese efa defamation lawsuit bi ho a since 2018 asem ne atwe ne sre ne abasa ye di ne wo Ghana hanum se kura ma asem no ya nhye da hu ba bi ekoduru ne se asem ne ya boagu sabre die court a wo US wo matena asem ne so a sebe we kohwemu die na chese ayenkunimdie de ama Anas Arimiya Anas na amanfo bisa se Kennedy Japan pa etimi ni Anas akojemu court ama sebe honorable worry as a Ken etimi elusu wo case we mu a enya asem keto ebusia. He has been all over the media space obi e ka ho asem Anas ankasa krasa ba bonten abekasa about this whole issue na chese otimu se nsem na ebobo no though say some people are shocked no ebinum so chese emra no we chese Ghana mra no akwakodi ebinum nsem but abrochire de emra no onimo bia echewa na chill. But currently we can say Nana Edison same way he's the person that can give us the background story of how this whole issue started. Shall say free he then Kennedy Kokan ye and some no saying the see ya and then after 2018 up to 2025 affair and sana yetimi ape asem no na no pomasibre and the way forward ni ade nyina no ebusie bedi hu enkomo ewa hana na ema akwaba. Okay, enti no currently ye tete say Anas ene Kennedy Japan wo mu legal battle so no agro ne abewie ya nesa and Anas edinkunim ewo sa case we emu but boy mu Anas de woni nkofo bebre wo cases no oni yan techi wo case te say woni nkofo bebre nya case Kennedy de no kwan ben so na sa issue we sha se.
Okay, so answer na no me find check ese nkoma ahwefo ne etifo ne obi bira we nya bra wo hwe neda enumre which happened to be the Tuesday.
Okay.
And a news we ebobo buy. Now, you need in seminary for quite some time now. It is because court case, it kind if Ghana and it could pay more money. Nani no after the number 12 exposure Anas Arimiya Anas King Japan Ebeka say Anas say or exposing Crawford there any about the bon Crawford is going to use the same measure or rod against a year or no Anas Arimiya Anas, and in turn, King Japan also brought about a year who watches the watchman. Now, this suit, let us make it emphatically clear. It is not about who watches the watchman.
Okay.
It is about in Sema Ken Ekan the words that he used explicitly. Various social media platforms. So and no and Anas agent so. The issue for defamation. Now, usually defamation case, it is really hardly won because of the freedom of speech and also basic freedom of speech. But US freedom of speech, it is something different. It is really enshrined in their constitution. The first and the second amendment. The first amendment allows you to talk freely, to speak your mind, and the second one allows you to bear arms. That is in the United States, in regards to the United States of the United States Constitution. Now, Obebi say I didn't Anas is you can on what grounds? So Anas is you can based on things or kind. Number one, as you've seen certain videos trending on social media, Ken Eka say Anas is extortionist. Ken say Anas or you're evil. Ken Eka say Anas or you're blackmailer. Ken Eka say Anas or you're corrupt. All these things are ways King Japan Eka on various stations. It can be what Adum TV
on one channel no so
Net2 TV. Okay, if a whole lot and Anas Anas and lawyers about Sukakra because they were able to get about 50 over 80 audios and videos and also about 30 articles over 120 articles and in presented to actually make their case known so this is where the whole
issue started from.
This is where Ninja Sony see, but then this is where the hammer really dropped. Anas issue Ken ewo Ghana no. The case was ongoing. Now the fraction amount forecast say Anas enya compensation be of 40,000. Ibi muso ka say Ken Agyapong actually won the case. But regardless, no, Anas sued Ken Agyapong in the United States because of two reasons. Number one, because of the United States. Number omo appeal globally. Anas sued Ken Agyapong no. Anas was looking for many things. Number one, Anas was even looking Sanka US for they will bar Ken Agyapong from entering the US and they will seize the assets of Ken Agyapong. So you realize that 3 years ago, Ken Agyapong or US or Bano in the detaining. No. Now this was in regards with the Anas Armia Anas. The whole lawsuit are not air coso. Teachery any the death of Ahmed Hussein Swali. Because Anas Armia Anas alleged say in some can you know explicitly no and I just say a trigger and conform sir. And Anas was able to present his case well he won. So this is the basis of all of these cases are Meno Casado. Yesterday, in fact, case it has been ongoing for some time now, but in Neda and as a case in a baby which was the Tuesday the 17th of March 2025 and we reconvene here baby a court case in the court state air course New Jersey the SS court air course in draft and a case in a baby and mind you said the case had about 7 to 8 jurors no and a jury no encophobia ye di assemble quarter ye kasa mo betina se na munti nti after a particular time no these jurors they've assessed the court proceedings near the no they will be able to vote and say okay we've heard the side of person A which is Ken Agyapong, we've heard the side of person B which is Anas Armia Anas, we are for this, we are against this. And yesterday anonymously almost 8 of the juries went say Anas he was able to really make a bold claim and Ken Agyapong was not really able to say it was Anas and didn't really cause harm. Anas said it was really enshrined in what we call the freedom of speech and as the First Amendment in the United States of America. And according to the jurors and the judge, Anas was able to make his case very well known. Say in Sema Ken Kaino, directly, indirectly, explicitly, and also objectively and subjectively, it has really caused harm to himself, his reputation, his business, and also injury to himself and his brand. And see, court is not about who did well, the winning will be. It is about facts and who is able to present the case well. So you were saying something this morning. A murderer can go to court, have a good lawyers, and then just escape
walk
jail.
Out free. Yeah,
exactly. So that's exactly what really happened.
What happened? It's a busiana to say Chema. A year Anas the expose be our ye some time ago no and I just say Yera Kenny who saw about Bonting he was so aggressive. Some of the videos are trendy on social media and so I'm sure say you've seen it and then your Rebecca say a brand and say my can they throw his this is that a lot of and Sema what they describe it a year Anas not say Anas Chema Ken a defaming so since 2018 said that America no assembly Rebecca no Ghana ha and then just say according to Anas no lawyers say what crodium hanum say omuni ne ndi ne ye enti na wo say assembly ye teleport ne ye de kopie mu ewo eye abrochima mu ho ne akwatena se aka asem no and afei de ye hu say Anas edinkunim but what was the verdict after jury no because you hu say jury no koye 8-0 na say among all the juries nyina went on the side of Anas Ken wenya ba kokra and as say ye kire mu say e was second Emma Anas Arimiya Anas $18 million. Is that's right? Inti na say Ken edeka na say no we dey nim say Ken ye obadi why we na ne role and amokoba. What is the current situation of Ken Agyapong right now? What is Ken saying about this issue?
So first of all, this morning I actually called a lot of people around Ken Agyapong, and for some reason, Misaka Bako, Nipana Misaka no so no say they've been warned not to talk about the case. So even if I will see something, Krana, as we told the name, so I'll redact that person's name. Okay. But then even before yesterday, mene Sanipan before I no pay mini Sanipan Bekasan. Yesterday, we were getting more information. Say case na eba Anas mo di Russia very soon eba koye updates about how Anas is even going on a victory lap. We are learning say the case actually was a mistrial and I said the judge would declare a mistrial. So yesterday in the evening we saw there were a whole lot of victory lap at Ekoso. Now utie $18 million na ya award Anas Armeya Anas na. It boils down to 3 fractions.
Okay.
Actual damages. Second one is compensatory damages. Third one is punitive damages. So the actual damages has to do with the case itself. So the case itself, the actual damages here was $5 million. Okay. And then the compensatory damages, they're in Patasika. And also $5 million.
$10 million.
$10 million. Now, the $8 million was the punitive damages. Okay. Now, according to King Japan lawyers, the whole thing, the whole case, the judge explicitly said, award Anas Armeya Anas money or damages with the exception of what? Punitive. Okay? So, even if Anas had really won the case legitimately based on the facts and how he presented it in court, the compensatory damage, the actual damages was $5 million. Okay. The compensatory damages was also $5 million. So $10 million. The punitive damage, which is $8 million. So this was based on this particular thing and others, and the judges, the King Japan law said, we will stand on this grounds to declare a mistrial. We want the judge to declare it as a mistrial. Okay. And even far from that, to the lawyers of King Japan Air Party said during the whole court proceedings, there were 1 or 2 circumstances it marred the court process and it marred the whole court proceedings. We say BB cause so and as BB as at the end of the day, as a case was say void. It can't be a void that basically I say like it is defective. I say, I say only na sabikitra betum. And now because it's poisonous and at the end of the day it's not even possible. What you say. So in this case, the lawyers of King Japan Air say BB calls. Now we don't know explicitly what really went on. Okay. And I think I was telling you this morning, a man for be FC King Japan. I was telling you, Ken usually rise from the ashes. And then you see that chicken in Japan too. He came out and became more popular for exposing the way you make it. So anytime be a King Japan, all caught down piano, something will really happen and then he will rise up, and that is also an instrument. But then far from that, Nema be brave to cause the case to be declared a mistrial. Okay, we don't know if there was a conflict of interest. Say be a jury or some can say and I'm share an opinion on the case elsewhere on social media or anything. We don't know. And one other thing too, I want to say, during this whole proceeding, once the videos be brave out on social media, the PR of Anas Arabia Anas is really doing something. I just say it is really unprecedented. We don't know if perhaps some static case they told them, see, no one should go on social media and declare a victory lap. Already, Anas is already declaring a victory lap. We saw the lawyers on Loud Silence Media yesterday saying second there cry bet double scanner times 5 or so. Just a whole lot of things. So we don't know exactly where this whole thing is coming from. But then we are learning, there will be an appeal.
So can back call for appeal?
It's for sure. Yes, this morning I've got confirmation from 2 people. And Bakokra Kasa with GTV or Sony King Japan lawyers Nakasa, they say they'll be going for an appeal. Yeah.
Looking at it, we are also hearing say before I can bet me a call for appeal, he has to bring the whooping $18 million on fan beto money na hand appeal na carry. And to say when to me and fat sa $18 million na fan ba appeal ni nkoswana.
One of the things about the whole court system I like so much is that there's always a workaround. Okay. I didn't make us a workaround. Law never, but then there are ways you can bypass it to get to where you want. Okay. This morning when I called one person, a questioner, and they say, why would King Japan even waste his time to follow this case in US? Now I knew the reason why Ken will probably follow up this case in US, okay? And there's a reason why Anas smartly chose New Jersey. That is because King Japan home state or Woma or Kwatina Honey Bibia New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why King Japan Kasan I said he's been dragged into this NJ is because he has a lot of landed properties in the United States of America. So based on all of this affirmation, Anas was say, okay, Semitrina Suaha near Castle for Bibi Mamia. Abrofon, they are so strict and in line. Say, when Tima fa mamia, you bet King Japan the property say, "Oh, Krum has say near their mammy." Do you get what I'm saying? So the person, I asked the person, said, why would Agyapong even waste the time to follow this?
The case.
Nana, Ken has a lot of properties in the US. And that is where I also came in to say, even let's digress a little bit. It's high time African leaders, not leaders, business people start actually doing something about their economy, and perhaps your friend is saying where they save their money. I didn't make us you can't go and do this in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
What I say? Because American, they can say, okay, Ken what can Simbia for journalists until you freeze just like that. Banke buy and in Japan, only properties be or US are or them or but it's some properties so Anas no say no. Has say you booty and craft $5 million no into you bet the properties now the amame. So that was exactly what really happened. And now smartly chose that state to make sure at the end of the day Obenya Bibi, and that is why we are seeing the victory lap all over.
Wow. It's not just say from all indication, Anas knew what he was doing. Onimpefe say what dear okodru what dear any what just say wa hit jackpot no. So right now no looking at it, I'm bound for blame me Kennedy Japan the lawyers no. That they have failed Kennedy, and one person we know for sure say no movie the picture square called viral Rafe Japan so yeah Kennedy Japan ni nua bema. So should we say he was incompetent entina ma ni nua $18 million?
Anope nipa nam ne kasa the first thing that he said was the lawyers of Ken didn't really do a good job, and let's call a spade a spade. It is true. I don't know who is representing Ken in this case, but the lawyers definitely didn't do a good job. Defamation case, usually, Obi bisa for $100 million, your man 10.
Okay.
Obi bisa for $10 million, your man 1, because you can only go high and the court can only give you low. I don't know if what I'm saying, you get it.
Sure.
Obi the mark of course, and I come home sem. My bond damage is 100 million Ghana cedis. There's no way. Court to because it's 100 no. They'll come like 10 or 5. Uti anyi ye kra 100,000. Okay, so for the jurors, the jury, all of them to say, we are going anonymously for Anas, which means King Japan's lawyers were basically ineffective. My member example, in 2-3 years ago, King Japan issued a year Kevin Taylor. Because Kevin Taylor can say as a Ken scandal no, it was more as a Ken scandal be a fee and echo. So Ken sued him in US, the same New Jersey court now. Kevin Taylor responded. But Kevin Japan sued Kevin Taylor $9 million. But Ken's court case Kevin Taylor won. Why? Because Kevin Taylor has a media minister and the most expensive lawyers, which Ken said the most expensive lawyers. Kevin Taylor said I was going to get the smartest lawyer. So in this case, see I say King Japan's lawyers were ineffective, they were not up to task, and I said basically they were not smart. Why would you lose a case 18 million? I mean, Anas $5 million. It makes sense. Obisa 18, Yaman 5. What is $5 million for Ken? But $18 million, that is too much. And now we are in case of Airban say for some reason, if the case is not declared a mistrial, what will really happen is that Ken has to put down the 8 or have to put the $80 million down before you produce it. You proceed to appeal.
Okay, maybe I acquire two things.
Yeah.
Is either the case is being declared as mistrial. Ni asanko case, asanko tina asem ni subiema ni yahwe. Na say anya the mistrial na so beko appeal there, na also the $80 million never.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It has to put it down before okay.
What you say before Mbeko. So that is where the whole thing is coming from. But then where on the ground CCI party say King Japan lawyers say they will appeal. And I think it's high time I can wait change gears. I don't know if you realize say Anas issued King Japan for the first time. Anas actually got a headway. He can't slap it Ken with 100K and other things. But actually Ken came back hard. He recalibrated. He came back hard and he actually did well with the case. So I'm sure some recalibration can come in. Some lawyers will be dropped. Some lawyers will be taken. The case will really be looked at. What the point? A bit of the rebate. Anas defense in Abeba because we are learning it's the first time Anas the coin. Anas actually lost it. Court able to go here. So Anas actually went for appeal. And I said we know they didn't him. So there is a silver lining. Say Ken can come out of this unharmed. And I said not really battered. Say ebe man ebe born kakrana. It will be half of it.
Okay.
It will not be that 18 million, it will be 9 million. So for Anas to get the full money then it means like in Japan on the lawyers, they didn't really do a good or diligent job.
But Anas, why is it still on this case? Like second the Japan case way, because your ruling case way was Ghana. When dim kunim, then you take it outside Ghana. They said they're walking, and lose, then you go for appeal again, or JDN or Kenho.
Anas' credibility has really been battered. See, even if Ken should raise $50 million for Anas, the credibility, Anas lose no, it can't even count to $1 billion for the first time. No, maybe who Anas picture that. Pictures are ever on social media. That was Anas with or the space we have to no, and I say what should that ID like he wants to look a little bit different. But we share the pictures I can release of Anas Arimia Anasa. And what is really come, it is the same. Now media will say it's not him, Anas can change. It is him. The US, you can't go to court and use a different face. Remember I said biometric is at play here. So that is Anas. And far from that, so and then Anas will release a documentary Biana Yebuku. What I say? Me no can say GFA ni Ghana football enkuyi. And then we have prominent people coming on TV stations to say your football now enkuyi. We need to blame Anas. So now the perspective against Anas has shifted from good to so much bad. Say impese betini din kra no.
Okay.
Impese betini din. And the kind of since the number 12 expose, Anas has not really been able to bring out any effective expose or investigative expose at court flames like before. So even if Anas should get $80 million, it is a huge money. But then integrity can't be bought. Okay.
That means metewase ne integrity into no all fight taken and as sika into no fight taken.
Oh, I see it's an integrity, the credibility, everything. I say because I mean Ghanaians now the perception about Anas has really changed. So he wants to use this as a payback or a fight back. Say, okay, so my new investigation create beam for the rest of my life. My jiska we are then I compensate me home. That is it. Yeah. Okay.
So Anas the issue where we for it's very skeptical. Just saying some na epie be mu no. Anas ankasa the press release ba bonten. And he stated say asem ni edi wo Ghana. But he realized that the judge awotena asem no so was unfair to him. Until I say it was set or side dream kwan obefa so an.
Also the judge or trans was unfair. Now this is where amount for Eka say what is Anas talking about? When in yan teaching case no, a do witness no. Yes, say bra ne be show him. First ne say also show him. Ena court say what ya say. Ena nan teaching lawyers ne ka say Eka say ye call with the Mazin story say what is good for the goose is good for the Ganges, and how it comes into equity must some Mazin story no. See, if you are basing on it, then who Anas are me Anas?
You have to show your face.
To me for being court and if you don't show your face. No, you took the person to court, so come and show your face. Now, we understand because of the nature of work, no. You bit my exception for you, but you can't go see say show your face to the person, okay? The person now, then court. No one's okay when they assume, but it doesn't make the case fair against me. So you see Anas MB shown him in the chambers. The lawyers of question and teaching no shown in him and another case proceed. Anas refused to come. Anas appealed and lost. Now at the time this same Anas chose to go to New Jersey courts, show his face, took pictures, and there was a video.
I'm not
saying no. We are not saying money, okay? So let me rephrase because of legal terms. Let's not say Anas going because of the money. But the question I made to Amity for is say I think Anas or call you no show him or call court in person. And a Ghana has the one court one he didn't want to show his face.
Let's say
basically so. Which means according to based on the scenario, it's like American law, no. I say more
very effective.
Maybe you about you can be a sebe. You come in for at say mboa. You Ghana for down US. How many times na better so be na money aboni to ekuno? US for now, who could take 2 hours. You have the right, Second Amendment, you have the right to bear arms. It's where it's more dangerous. What you can tell me is that the pillars of the law is more robust and are robust in the US. But if Anas Itima could yin him, ewo your friend is saying Sussex Courts, SS Courts, ewo New Jersey. I didn't know him be yin him. Ewo your friend is saying a Ghana court.
Cause Ghana court, maybe I won't Ghana court serious.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. And the Supreme Court in nearby, you know. Omo ka say, you see, me person me che usa we kron for. Okay. Me to me fa sika embe fa huna na wo gise odo kwhwe oba operation me so ye kron for. It doesn't really happen that way. Now watching me kra no, who gave you the authority say from a video cut to social media, from a video na ye sini, never cut to BBC. You see, let's look at this.
Oh yeah, Juma. Oh yeah, investigation.
Social media, yeah, me no kasi YouTube, yeah, me no kasi, you know. Okay. Me for picture, me for be picture, the person can report me on YouTube, me I bring the whole video down. It is because of a certain law, a friend is saying the privacy law. When him say ideally, no, oko companies almost CCTV, or my trouble also beware CCTV is here. Do you know why? You need to alert the
say,
yes.
Some companies don't show it.
Them, but Aboche, they will tell you say CCTV is all over because you have to let the person know say privacy, like you are being captured for security reasons and for our own good sake. What am I say? It's in the meaning about say me want me baby me Montreal about my office or person me do. Na camera bobon na me no wakasa. If you have a case, why don't you give it to the police? Now they are called to social media, or they are called to BBC, Al Jazeera.
It be untrusted Ghana police.
Untrusted Ghana police, but trusted BBC, Al Jazeera. Now why see BBC no? And now UK ho no, bonini ho. Why see America no corruption any ho? It is everywhere. What you say? Bet me no me so no pana ye de menim at to social media ni BBC say makwaji skibi. A Brian for man court and investigation and mamma who come and defend me home. Even if I defend myself, at the end of the day, me at the end of the day, a banner say me a guilty crime. You have no right to parade my videos like that on social media and BBC. So let's look at the leak because I'm not for be I say judges, the Ghana judges are corrupt. Corruption is everywhere. Menoka say last month there was a US senator and also yes say Oji good if we take it for her any easy for her to pass a certain bill. I'm a jailing for almost 50 years. Trump crap pardon. What you say? So corruption is everywhere. The question is, how does Anas do his work? So
the issue is the way our Juma
is the modus operandi. What you say? Are you catching the person live in action? And I say, are you trying to? And Osha, you see, one thing people are forgetting is that sir court case here, of course, you know, the SS court in New Jersey, you know, they even. The judges nika say in some Agyapong can or criticize the Anas work no part of it no it is valid because when I go read the documents no also part of the case is valid because at the end of the day though when Anas ever so arrive conducting investigation no it is not a what must say how would you feel so your bar maba me no wakasa say me no beda na camera bomb me pese me check if you are lawyer or not me we anam the video na koma BBC say she lady now wa worry no say
the you I know say we are one person be you've always spoken against the modus operandi Anas the end Juma say or discover be pon uji we are na fe ono akasa san ba be catch o say na sika no na why bribe na why corruption so that is your problem.
I don't have any issue with those things because say who you be okay, you might bribe in any form or in any shape onje.
Okay.
That is it. Okay. Akwese me amiti hey. What can I use as an example? Mami 10,000 cedi said, perhaps me kukumi papa. Me if I'm a diligent person and I have self-respect and integrity, 1 billion cry, me what I say, it's no, and also, but then my issue is even if me $1 million, no, and I'm seeing my year cry now, where do I land in terms of prosecution? Is it a court of public opinion or in courts? What they make social media a court of public opinion? They will judge you for. But you have to take the same footage to courts and let courts bring out a verdict. Names were paid. I didn't know here and why you but the court to social media and BBC sign. At the end of the day, you didn't even allow me to explain myself.
Okay.
Why did I take the money? Was I under duress? Was I doing it for something? Try me nearby. Obitimichi a true ekumobi. Yeah, you many. I have YouTube net check your baby be law and crime network.
Yeah.
law and crime network no their case will be to me kum ni kunu any nua or court no say we ni against our family. Why? Because the court was able to determine say ebi anipa ndi oye and the person did it at that what self-defense. And I say ebi anipa no you are subjecting to so many years of abuse and torture. And after the like he did the thing out of desperation. And I be anipa ni
to free himself.
And I say nipa be a mental illness. What I say, but I don't say nipa ni kun obi say ni menu mu na now the social media say kun obi a people don't care if the person PTSD, they don't care if the person was doing it in self-defense, they don't care if the person what we know is you killed the person, what he did is wrong, you are guilty. That is the court of public opinion. Our issue is that it needs to go through a process. No problem. Court. Let's give it to FIFA. Let FIFA and let's Anas Abaso. Anas or the case will come out FIFA. And FIFA review the footage. And FIFA can say, even if Christina Antichi I don't know yeah for say crime and yeah a public official no
and what's all yes sir
disgrace your office. So FIFA went ahead to ban him for what I think it's 25 years or so. That makes sense. What I say, but then say I don't buy no now about social media gidi ye fan court now as a ban said the court of public opinion crab force say nipa ni mbu ni kun for. So the whole thing has to do with operandi. If show me past videos I've been very critical and applauded Anas Armia Anas in various ways. But once again, you know, the issue I may have with Anas say the modus operandi. Can he really modify it? My example, Anas started expose, you know, sa biscuit here na go many adi adibo. How did he came about that? He went there as a worker. Intadina omo yenye se obi ono talk go many more se go memu fan tum na monye. It was something that was really happening. The people were not doing it under duress. Abortion issue or the by any doctors. It was something they were doing. And you're not say you win it. So Anas was not really doing something in law terms.
It was something they were doing, but he didn't get to catch it at the time. Or you will be
it could be say a or hypothetically. Yet it's you've heard it. And as boost me the corrupts GFE. Yet it is you could have caught a yantichi in FN saying you could have caught Nantichi live without any duress. If Nantichi a bribe coach is or your investigative journalist, you can position your cameras to catch him in action. You didn't tell the coach to give the question, and you didn't tell the coach to receive money from Question Antichi. You didn't tell Question Antichi to give the coach money. You caught it live in action. You know the bar. Obi in case obi for so be no bia ye. I say say J me pe bibi say no so I can say vice president bottom near dia. That is when someone can say basically the whole thing was partly because of the race.
Wow. And then say looking at it right now, no Ghana court any New Jersey for court omukoye. Na say Anas respected New Jersey for court in Ghana for court because people are talking about the fact say ocean the pictures ni be echo viral now or she nose marks or she spectacles, but during the time okopie mo Ghana court on nyantichi issue I can say onye the marks no say onye does it mean that he doesn't have regard for
it could be
legal.
So I'll digress a little. It could be because of two things. The first thing that it could be because it could be is because of security reasons. I didn't tell America sir. We saw what really happened to Ahmed Swali. Ahmed Swali kwani him no kwebo ni toku no. Enti Anas will be of the view say me show me him na echna ye bebo me toku to say Ahmed Hussein. So at least USD him say the framework no it will protect you. Do you get what I'm saying? So that is it. So let's go in near share. Now the law in US is different, but then the law also allows only I seen. Another update be by about Didi in the case no. One moment see no most of them no omudini redacted. In terms of the court case no, it will be obi sue na nipa no. He believes nipa na we sue nipa no. I will say protecting because nipa ni a minor and as nipa no niska nipa ni under privilege. We use a certain name called Doe. The Doe comes from the 1800s case be a course of Jane Doe John Doe. So Doe or your buy friend Jane Doe or your bema friend John Doe. So usually be SU be not needing a person about they use the name John Doe or your bema John Doe Bema Oba Jendo. So yesterday wanted for a fair trial. And that is exactly what is really going on.
Wow. Ebusiana say with a year anas arimiya anas wo issue a ekoso no emu papa mu ni nchechiri mu ne dia bante say ye hwe say omo ida say ye be declare asem no mistrial anas say ankoba ne sade a enne na che say ye be call for appeal on this particular issue. Ye be call so the same way echi ye be wa mo update e won same way.